Welcome to the Boring Wisdom. This episode is dedicated to how to set goals and actually achieve them. This will have 4 points of the 4 episodes that we have created for our entire series. This is going to be a summary of all of those 4 episodes. So, let's get started with each of them. Step number 1, define and set meaningful, clear goals. So, this is the first step. When you want to set goals, you have to set them really clear, really precisely. You don't necessarily say that I want to get fit. You say that I want to get in shape or this particular shape, or you define all of the variables. Like, what is shape to you? Like, what is shape? Do you want to look like this guy, that guy, or how long you're going to perform this particular activity for? Maybe in 6 months you want to get in shape, or maybe how much weight you want to put on, or how much weight you want to lose. Say, for example, if you want to set a goal to get fit, rather you should set a goal for maybe losing 10 pounds in next 6 months, or maybe gaining 5 or 6 pounds in next 6 or 7 months. That is a goal now. That has all of the things. It is specific, it is measurable, it is achievable, it has time bound, it is reliable. It has all of the variables that you need to create a proper framework. That is what we usually use in goal settings. Even I teach that in my paid classes, that if you want to set a goal, you have to have a specific real criteria. And the criteria is it has to fall under these 5 variables, which is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So, relevant, specific, let's just talk about one by one. Sequence, specific, it has to have specific stuff, like you want to either lose weight, gain weight, what do you want to do, all of the things clearly defined. If you want to complete this project, what is the project, how long you're going to take, how long you're going to work, and what you're going to accomplish in this month, that month, or maybe week or days, whatever that happens to be. Then, is it measurable? Can you measure your progress? If you go to the gym and maybe you want to gain 10 pounds in the next 6 months, can you measure it? Of course you can measure it. So that is measurable. Then, is it achievable? Do you think that you can sit down on the internet with maybe 15 pounds or maybe $100 in your bank account and you can start and rocket company? No, that is not achievable. At least by now, at least by your current state, by the current financial state, or maybe your mental state, you cannot achieve that. You cannot achieve that much level of success with your current financial status. You need millions of dollars to start a rocket company. So that's not achievable right now. And is it relevant? Do you think that actually is relevant to you, or is it just to show people off that you have accomplished this? You need to answer your own self. You have to ask your own self that, is it relevant to my purpose, or am I just doing it to show it off? Then the fifth variable is time bound. You have to have a deadline. Deadlines are God. That's what I believe in, that you have to have deadlines, and men work better when they have deadlines. When you have to complete a project of maybe of school or college, if you have a deadline that you have to complete it by tomorrow, you have to. There is no other chance. You cannot pretend that you are sick. You cannot pretend anything. You have to complete it by tomorrow. You will complete it. Even if it takes like 3 months to complete that project, you will complete it in just one night if you have to do it. Deadlines are God. So, step number 2, break it down to simple milestones. So, when you have a big, long goal, if you want to achieve something, maybe let's just say, for example, I want to run 100 mile. I have to set milestones for that. Even if I'm training to run 100 mile, I have to set milestones. Like, I'm going to run maybe a mile for this month. I'm going to go on to like 4 times or maybe 5 times a week, or maybe 7 days a week. Every single day I'm going to run 1 mile, and then after 1 week I'm going to increase the intensity, then increase the intensity, and then I'll train for a significant amount of time, maybe 6 months, 7 months, or 8, 9 months. I don't necessarily know how much you have to train for to run 100 miles. So I'm just taking a random example that you increase the intensity, like progressive overload. It's basically just progressive overload as you do in the gym. If you want to do 100 kg bench press, but you right now you do just 40 kg bench press, then you need good enough long period of time. You have to do progressive overload as the time goes, and you have to have like break it down to the milestones if you want to achieve it. You cannot just say that I want to lift maybe I want to bench press 100 kilo and do that tomorrow. You have to break it down to small goals. Like, I'm going to do like 40 kgs for maybe 10 reps. And then from the next week, I'll increase the weight or maybe the intensity of reps that I put in. So that's how you define or break it down into small milestones. Or say, for example, let's take a simple example that is understandable, that 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days rule. Basically, I don't necessarily know who came up with this idea, but I've read it somewhere on the internet, I think, that when you want to achieve something, you define a particular thing. Let's just say, for example, I want to complete this project in 90 days. Then in the 30 days, I have something defined that within 30 days, I'm going to complete this part of the project or this much of the project. Then in 60 days, when it hits 60 days, like 30 and 30, 60 days are done, I will have this much done. And by the end of 90 days, I'll have all of the project, the entire project is done. So I can measure that, right? I have milestones like 30 days. If I haven't completed this, then I'm behind time. If I have completed this in 15 days or maybe 20 days, I'm ahead of time. That's how you measure it, by having milestones. So let's just move on to the step number 3. Create daily and weekly habits. Why habits? Because you cannot perform for a long enough period of time in the long run if you just have some kind of things that you do, or routine, a simple routine that you do. Let's say, for example, you don't necessarily have a habit of working every single day, but if you create it a habit, in the long run it is beneficial to you, and it is going to be really beneficial to your work. That's what I actually believe in. It might sound a little bit weird, but it is genuine. You necessarily need a real habit if you want to be actually successful in achieving your goals that you want to try in. Let's say, for example, you want to bulk up maybe 10 pounds, 20 pounds. So you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to work out for 6 months. That's it. But if you created a habit of going to the gym every single day, then there is a really less chances of you skipping the gym days, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're sick, even when you don't want to go to the gym. You will definitely go to the gym because you have set it as a habit that you are going to do it every single day, because it is part of your system. And when it is part of your system, you are going to do that anyways. Then the step number 4, the 5-second rule. I don't necessarily know who came up with this idea, but I think Mel Robbins or something like that came up with this idea that you have to just take a break of 5 seconds. Okay, let me just explain you with a quick example that you are in the gym, you just hit a bench press, PR, maybe let's say for example, you hit a PR and then you don't want to work out more. You are totally tired, your body is totally destroyed, you don't want to push any forward, you don't want to put on any more reps. Then what do you say to yourself? You sit down, count to 5, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You count down from 5 to 1, that's it. And then you do it anyways. You do it regardless. Even if you feel you don't want to work, you still work. So doing this does not actually only makes you work, but actually makes you more disciplined. Actually, let's just say reshape your mind. It frames your mind in a way that you just take 5 seconds of break and then you work. So every time it forms a pattern inside of your brain. So every single time you don't feel like working, you can just sit down and count down 5, and you'll actually genuinely just start feeling like you want to work more. That's it. So it takes like 60 or maybe 90 days to create this pattern, recreate this pattern. It is like neuroplasticity, where basically you just rewire your brain and every single. That's basically a lot of science stuff. Neuroplasticity is called as the basis of that. But it takes 60 to 90 days to form that particular thing inside of your brain so that you will be able to do that. Just count down to 5 and you'll, boom, you now want to work. That's what I usually do. I have did that for maybe 180 days now. And even if I don't want to work, even if I don't feel like working, I just count down to 5, start working. And I get and produce better results in those periods of time when I'm not motivated, when I'm more disciplined than motivated. So let's just go on to the step number 5. Track progress and adjust if needed. So say for example that I have some sort of project, or I may be thriving to put on muscles and things like that, but I cannot track my progress. Does that sound optimistic? Does that sound optimal? Not optimistic, optimal. Say for example that I'm working, or maybe let's just say about routine. I have a very precise routine of working maybe 10 hours a day because I have college, I have job, or maybe things like that. So I take out maybe 6 or 7 hours in a day to work. I wake up at 3 to 4, I procrastinate. I just, it takes an hour for my mind to realize, to just know that okay, I have woken up. This is the morning time. I scroll Instagram, I go through the messages, I binge watch all of the nonsense Instagram reels. So I waste an hour in the morning. So where this is where I have to create a data point that okay, I don't necessarily perform in this time, so I don't have to sacrifice my sleep. I can work an hour more at night because that is where I perform better. So you have to collect all of these data points and track your progress and adjust yourself if needed. You see the habits that you are doing. If they are not delivering anything positive in your output, fucking just remove them. And if they are delivering something positive to you, adapt them and add more like them and just see which one works and which one doesn't, and adjust as your requirements. So the last step is take the first step right now. Right now, you as soon as you end this video, as soon as you close this video, take the first step. Take the smart goals concept and just see that what goal falls under all of these category and create a goal for your own self. Don't say that I want to get fit. Precisely mention that how much weight you want to gain, for how long you are going to do that, what is your deadline, is it specific, is it relevant to you, do you want to actually get fit, do you want to actually look good, or do you want to just do it just because your friends are doing it? No, don't do it just because of the peer pressure. If you want to do it, do it. You'll do it better if you want it. If you are doing just because of peer pressure, sooner or later you're going to hate yourself. So do it if you want to do it, if you have any kind of like interest towards that particular thing. Don't do it just because everyone is doing it, right? Because I've read it somewhere that mass consumption is obvious most of the time trash. So if everyone is doing it, that's probably wrong. So start your first goal right here, right now. Just go on to either comment section or maybe grab a piece of paper and a pen and write down your specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound goal and start to work towards it with discipline and consistency. Work even when you don't feel like working. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.